Hello everyone, welcome back to another card making tutorial, and I hope you had the chance to watch Thursday's video, which was a little bit off my normally ones, but if you haven't done so, I would appreciate if you do so. Just explaining a little bit what was going on with Close to My Heart and where we go from here. But today we're gonna focus on another card project. So this one I actually use our current stamp of the month, which called Just Chicken In, and it is the stamp of the month for March, so only available in March. And I think right now the stamp site is available, but the dies, the set with the dies, is on back order, but I have to double check. I will post it down below. And I use my favorite coloring pencils, the Colorista ones. And this is the card we're gonna do. So in class, this time it's pretty simple. I stamped the inside, but there's no phrase in there. And I have a Happy Easter, but I also have two different varieties for my peeps when they're in class, so they can either put in Happy Birthday or a sympathy phrase. Because I feel like this works with either or. So if you don't need a Happy Easter, you can convert it. So let's get going and see what we have in here. Let me put this aside. So there are a couple pieces here. There are these little blings, and I will show you in a second. So this piece is raised. Everything else is flat, and then the flowers have some are raised and some are flat, so I will show you. So this is how it comes. This is the main part, and it will measure 3 inches by 7 and no wrong side, so 3 inches by 5.5. And I put a circle in, and my circle I think is around 2 1/4. Let's see, how big is my circle? 2 3/4. And I offset it a little bit, so I cut this with the machine, but if you have a punch, for example, you can use this. Just cut your piece and then use a punch to punch out the piece. All right, so let me show you for a second how to color these in. And I pretty much used these 4 colors. So these two are it's pine green and fresh green for the leaves, and then this one is the orange citrus and the sunburst yellow. And as you know, these are super soft, super nice, and I'm not very detailed on these ones. Again, I leave a little bit white on the tips, so I'm really just quickly going in here and just giving those leaves a little color. And we go back with the orange in a second, but for now I'm laying down the base. And if you do a quick one, I always go from the bottom to the top, and if I don't go all the way to the edge, that's fine. I will show you in a second how this looks like. It doesn't have to be filled in. It looks more natural when you leave a little bit wide and you don't put, your color in edge to edge. It looks just more dimensional. So let me show you. I don't know if you can see. So it's really just, there's a lot of white still, and that is perfectly fine. So now I'm going to use the orange, and the only thing I do is like in the center here, I go from the center up with a light hand. You don't want it too dark, and then I go a little bit where those edges are, or those lines are already kind of like indicating, but all from the bottom of the leaf, not to the top. So it just makes it a little bit darker and gives it a little bit more movement. Here too, just bottom, and this one too, and here we go. See, I'm not very careful, just giving it a hint of color. All right, and then I go back with my yellow and just go over it a little bit that should be fine. Could put a little bit orange in here, but really just give it a quick coloring. And these pencils blend so nicely, so but you need a light touch. Don't push too hard. Like with any pencil, if you push too hard, you just get a lot of color in there. And that's pretty much what it looks like really up close. So, and then we do the leaves, and the leaves are pretty much, I give them a light green touch first. So we're just coloring everything in this light green. And then I go in with a little bit darker, and again just here at the bottom or in those areas that are curved, you know, like here this is darker, the curved edge will be lighter. But you don't really have to be too careful with these because these are so small, so you just want to add a little bit more interest in the leaves and everything by adding some color to them. So I think we're good here. Go over with the light green a little bit, and that is it. So not precise, just giving it a little bit of color. All right, I will do the same for the inside, and then I will be back here in a second. All right, so the inside is color 2, and now we have to cut these out. So there is a die cut with this set, but I haven't ordered that yet, so I have to fuzzy cut, but it's actually not too bad. So I just go around the edges here, leaving a little thin white border, and just follow the lines. And if it's a little bit wider, the white, that's fine too, don't worry about it. And you're just going as far as you want. You don't have to go all the way into detail here. I don't mind doing that, but that's up to you. And then we just go around the leaves. And while I'm doing this, I want to give a shout out to Becca Whitman, who is one of my fellow makers who came up with this design for this card. Hers was a little bit different, but nevertheless, her card was my inspiration for doing this one. So thank you, Becca, for doing this. So here we go. And I really like this design. It's simple but elegant and easy to recreate. And like I said, if you don't have a machine, you might have a circle die you can use and run through your die cutting machine. And if you don't have that, then maybe your circle punch. And if everything fails, you can always just cut it as a square. So there are many options, but I'm sure you have maybe a punch or even a die somewhere that you can use if you don't have a Cricut. So I cut mine with a Cricut because naturally I had a whole bunch to cut for my class, and that was just easier to make sure they're all lined up and in the same spot. Therefore, the machine did the work in this case. So here we go, a few last curves, and we're almost there. One more on this side. And then we have to put some foam spacers under the yellow piece of cardstock. where we punched a circle out, because this one is raised, and then we will tuck in our flowers after the fact. So the first thing we're gonna do is put adhesive, foam, spacers, whatever you have, tape. There we go. So let's put this away. All right, so this one will be the first one we're gonna raise, and we will tuck the flower in behind here. So I'm just leaving myself a space right about here, so I don't put anything here high up, that it doesn't interfere with my flower that I'm gonna put in there. So do one in each corner. You can cut them smaller to get more in the little ends here, but I'm fine with that. Okay, we put one more here. This part is done. And then we put a few more here on the side, on the bottom, and that should be fine. So this one here, we have adhesive under here, but like this flower, we have to leave a little bit open. I did not put anything down here because this one is tucked inside, and then I actually put regular adhesive on the bottom, so it's attached to the card. And then everything else, including this little flower, will have some foam. So I start with the flower on top here, since I have this already in my hands, and then just spread them out a little bit here and there. Doesn't really need a lot, it's just to keep them upright. All right, I think we're good. So let's start with this one here first. So now comes the fun part, removing all these little pieces and making sure you're not throwing them anywhere, because these things fall everywhere. I have my garbage bag right here, and once in a while I don't hit the basket, so it goes on the side. So once I remove it, I'm like, oh my god, all these little white things stuck to the carpet. Okay, we got these. Now let's do the top here. Make sure they're all taken care of. Alrighty, and then we want to make sure, so I use my Versamat, and actually I can put this one right above here to see where I place them, but I want to make sure that it's straight and that it is lined up straight. Okay, so this is looking good. We just leave it there. All right, the next thing is our little flower. So again, gonna remove all these little covers. And then we just need a little bit of adhesive to put those stems on. So then I put a little bit adhesive down here and a little bit over here. Anything that overlaps the card just a little bit, so I think that's fine. Okay, and then we just tuck it in here and put it down. That looks good. For the little gold or shimmer trim. I'm going to use my tweezers. It makes it easier to hold and apply the adhesive, but also to place it down. If you don't have a one of these tweezers, I can highly recommend them. So, okay, and as you can see, I forgot to stamp, but that's okay. All right. Yours will be stamped, mine is not. So let's see how many. I have to carefully remove this. And we all have to go to plan B. Things happen. Let's flip this around. And I'm gonna place this mat underneath here just so I can get this edge of the paper here on, so I can stamp my phrase on here. And hopefully this will work. We will see. We're gonna do a happy birthday. This needs to go in a little bit further, so let's just, that's the good thing about these things, they don't stick right away. So the reason why I'm not stamping it right on top of the paper card, normally you could, but since we raised it, there is these little bumps, and so you have divots in between, and if it doesn't have an even place to grip the stamp is, it will not turn out right. And this should be working, and it did. Here we go. So this one is gonna be our happy birthday. Now we just take this back, and it just adhered to our mat, which is fine. And we push it down, and nobody knew that we forgot. So here we go. Now this one has the happy birthday. And if you ever have an issue with this, and you stamp in black, and let's say your stamping image didn't turn out as you planned, grab one of these fine, here's one, fine pens, and this is a 005, so this is a very, very tiny one, but it can help you to fill in these little spots that you maybe have missed, instead of trying to re-stamp it, which often will not work. Just use a fine pen and just fill in. Nobody will know, and that is the easiest way to fix something if you forgot to stamp, or if it didn't turn out all the way. So now I just have to place, and I like to just push these down, place my little bling here, keep one here, keep one about here, and then we're gonna put one up here. Okay, now here's our sample card. Now all I used was a black pen, and this one is the bigger one, it's the 05, but any black pen will work. And I just do a couple of these little dots here. And then on the inside, I did a couple of dots on the flower too. I did mine here with a pencil, but you can just use your black pen if you want to. And then Again, you can use a pencil or a black marker, whatever you feel like, whatever you have on hand. And I'm just doing a couple of crossing lines here, and only on the bottom and on the side. If you have a nice happy birthday stamp, you can put this inside. Other than that, this was card number 1. Super easy. Like I said, this was 3 by 5.5. The circle was 2 3/4. This is about a 1/4 inch thick and about 4 inches long, this strip of design paper. And then the flowers are from the current Just Checking In. This is the current stamp of the month for March. I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial. Please give me a thumbs up if you liked it. If you haven't already done so, I would appreciate if you subscribe to my channel. And like I said about the closing of Cross to My Heart and everything that is involved and that will come out in the future, please check out the video from Thursday. I will link it down below, so you can check it out and just be informed to know what is going on. All right, thanks for watching. Have a great week and see you next week. Bye bye.